Hello, and welcome to the September 2024 monthly update. Things I have done this month. Nothing on this channel, because I couldn't be bothered. But I've done quite a bit on the gaming channel. Well, you know, the same as usual. Been continuing with my 3 uploads a week, kinda thing. I've been doing quite a bit of music. I've started work on the album after the album after the album after my next album. Planning ahead quite a bit. I've got the next album is done, and the first single of that is going to be coming out next month, which is going to be a lot more. This is a much more experimental album. Then the album after that, I've got about half done. Album after that, I've got nothing done, and then album after that, I've got 1 song done. Because I've kind of got a theme for them, so I'm just kind of dipping in and out depending on what kind of song I want to do. And you know, rather than having one album that's very eclectic, I'm kind of grouping them, you know, just to see if I can do that kind of album where it has like 1 sound for the whole thing. And then after that, I'm planning on just returning to, you know, my style. I've got a thing on my... I didn't want those eyelashes anyway. So my eye, this eye in particular, has really been hurting today. It's like I keep feeling like I've got something in it, but then I haven't, apparently. So, because I keep using this little mirror to see if I, and there's never anything in there, so it's very strange. But anyway, so I have done things, despite the description saying I haven't done anything. That just means I haven't done anything on this channel. But I've been working a lot on music, and I've been working a lot, obviously, on the gaming channel. Plans for next month, as I said, the first single of the next Moid album, which is called Decay Pieces. The first single, Greasy Eyes, is going to be coming out. Like I said, this album is a lot more experimental. So if you like my more experimental stuff, you'll probably like that. So that, obviously going to carry on gaming. I'm just kind of taking it very easy at the moment, doing what I feel, you know. Not stressing out over anything, because that doesn't help anything, really. So, yeah. So, there. Things I've watched this month. I've watched Series 2 of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. And I've got to tell you, this show is graphically violent. It's amazing. I think Tom Savini did the special effects for it. Why am I watching a little girl's cartoon? I'll tell you why. I've watched everything else. Everything else I've already seen it. You know? And it's just nice. I don't need an excuse. It's nice. And you need to think the rest of the time, I spend the rest of my time watching like dystopian science fiction films and really graphic Italian zombie films and war documentaries and stuff. And it's all very dark, and it's nice to just have something that's just light and fluffy every now and again, you know? So, yeah. I mean, it's hardly the strangest thing I've watched on the channel. Well, not watched on the channel, but you know what I mean? It's hardly the strangest thing. So there. Then I watched This Is Spinal Tap from 1984. Obviously, this is a film that I'd heard about a lot. I didn't actually enjoy it that much. It was alright. There are a couple of funny bits in it, but overall, I mean, it doesn't help that it's about a genre of music that I don't really like, so that doesn't help. But just, I just didn't really like it that much. It was alright. Actors were good, but not really my thing. And then literally just like a couple of days ago, I watched an episode of the show Comedy Lab, because Comedy Lab was a show in the 90s that were just like individual episodes, just like singular episodes by people. I mean, the first episode of That Peter Kay Thing, the pilot episode of That Peter Kay Thing, was an episode of Comedy Lab. I watched one called Golden Years, which was an early Ricky Gervais thing. Kind of, in a way, a prototype of The Office, even though the pilot episode of The Office was actually made before this. But it's kind of I suppose it's more like Extras. It's kind of a kind of prototype for Extras, in a way. Definitely not the funniest thing he's done, but very interesting to see him very young. Obviously not as young as he was in the 80s when he was doing his music thing, but, very early stuff. And quite good. So there. That is things I have watched this month. Things I've listened to this month. I started out planning on going through all the Beatles stuff that I hadn't caught up with yet, but I listened to their first album, Please Please Me, and then I heard like the first 3 songs of With the Beatles, and I just don't like it. I really don't like the early stuff. Like, there's a couple of songs on it that were alright. Twist and Shout, obviously one of the best of their early years, but most of it is just, I just don't like it. So I gave up on that. I resumed Bob Dylan, Bringing It All Back Home from '65. That was his first one with any electric instrumentation on it. Some really good songs on that. A really good album, actually, but I feel like it could have been sequenced a lot better, because what they did is they had side 1 have all the electric tracks, and then side 2 have all the acoustic tracks, and it just doesn't flow very well, in my opinion. I think they should have alternated a little bit, like had some electric tracks and acoustic tracks, and then electric, and then, go kind of back and forth. I think that would have flowed a lot better. So, yeah, it's nearly it's a good album, but it's not a great album. It could be a great album. I'm gonna have a go at shuffling around the track listing a bit, not anytime soon, but before I put it on my phone, I'm gonna have a go at, if I ever put it on my phone, that is. But anyway, then I listened to Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde from 1966, a vast improvement over its predecessor. Just a great album, and a double album as well. And I always prefer double albums because they're, assuming it's someone I like, obviously. A double album of someone I don't like is obviously not going to be great. But I like double albums because it always allows more room for experimentation. I mean, there's songs on this album that definitely wouldn't be on it if it was a single album. Obviously, half of them, to be precise. But, like, there's the final song there is an 11-minute long track. And, that probably wouldn't have made it if it was a single album. Although there's actually quite a long song on the previous album, so I don't know how accurate that statement is. There's a 7-minute song on that, but, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, definitely a lot better. Still not my favorite. I know a lot of people say Blonde on Blonde is the greatest Bob Dylan album. I've only heard 5 of his albums so far, but for me it's number 3. I still think Planet Waves is number 1 for me, then Self Portrait, then Blonde on Blonde, then Bringing It All Back Home, and then Dylan, the 73 album. Or Dylan might even be above Bringing It All Back Home, I'm not sure. I need to re-listen to them. I've only really listened to them once properly. But I've re-listened to most of these, and I've been re-listening to a lot of albums because I've been playing a lot more Minecraft. And usually when I'm playing Minecraft, I listen to the Ricky Gervais show, the Ricky, Stephen, Carl, XFM radio shows, because they're on YouTube in full. And things, I'm getting to the end. I'm now on season 4, and so I'm trying to pace myself with it, because if I rush through them, then that'll be the end. I know there's the actual podcasts, but I don't know if I'll be able to find them. I mean, if it comes to a stretch, I can always just play the animated show and just not watch it, just have it on in the back. But I'd rather like the full, because I'm pretty sure they cut them down for those episodes. I'm not entirely sure about it, to be honest. But basically, that is it. Bye. No. And I've used that opportunity of playing Minecraft and having albums on to reassess earlier albums that I maybe wasn't so keen on. So I've re-listened to a lot of albums, like a lot of, the later 80s Oingo Boingo stuff, and some of the early Fleetwood Mac that I'm not so keen on, and stuff like that, to give them like another chance. And I usually enjoy albums more on re-listening to them. I've also done some top 10s of my favourite albums from decades. I've done... and I'm going to do proper videos talking about them once I've... Because the lists are kind of in like a kind of prototype stage at the moment. I want to really listen to them and analyse them properly, But I've got a top 10 albums of the 60s, a top 10 albums of the early 70s, of the first half of the 70s, so 70 to 74, and then another top 10 from favourite albums of 1975 to 79, and then 1980s. And so that is that. So you'll be seeing me do some top 10 videos. I'm not going to say soon, because probably not soon. But at some point, I will do those. So yeah. Anything else? Has anything happened in the world? There's still some wars going on. I gotta be honest, I haven't been paying attention to any of that. I just can't be bothered. I feel like I can only have so much sympathy for people who are killing other people, So like, I can sympathise if there's a group of people being oppressed, but when they're all just killing each other, I'm just like, go ahead and kill each other. I can't be bothered with you, Like, if you can't have sympathy for, the other people on the side of the battlefield. Battlefield? That's when you have a load of, like, chicken on a field, battlefield. Ba-bum. When you're just killing people, I can't feel too bad when you get killed, get the children out there and all that, but die, peace and love. Imagine all the people killing each other. Ooh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Bum 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 doodle doodle 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 bum bum doodle doodle ba doodle doodle. Goodbye.